Welcome back. Alexandria Procter, a seasoned entrepreneur and tech enthusiast, recently released her highly anticipated memoir titled Upstart. In this compelling book, Procter shares her valuable insights, experiences and advice centered around the dynamic world of startups and new technology. Drawing from her own extensive journey in the startup landscape, she shares insights into the intricacies of launching and scaling a new venture in today's fast-paced, tech-driven environment. Upstart not only serves as a source of inspiration, but also offers concrete strategies for success. The author joins us now virtually to tell us more. A very good morning to you, Alexandra. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here this morning.
Good to have you on the show. What was the inspiration, first of all, behind writing a memoir about startups and new tech?
A couple of things. So I think the overwhelming thing is just to convey a sense of that the power is completely in your hands as an individual, not only to change the course of your own life, but to change the course of the broader world. And I think it's so exciting about startups that you absolutely can do that. There's almost like a set work of rules you can follow, of tricks in the book that you can follow to build a really successful company and do something really extraordinary. And I want to let it out there. It's not a mystery. It's not sort of anything too complicated other than just following the path and having a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of sort of faith in yourself. And so that's the feeling behind the book, to write something that is a playbook, that is fun, that is exciting about how to build a startup in South Africa.
Can you share some key pieces of advice for aspiring entrepreneurs that you discuss in your book?
Well, I think the main thing is that, a lot of people talk around the ancillary ideas of building a startup. What it comes down to essentially is just adding value. Usually you create something that's valuable in the world and something that's good enough that people are going to be like, I'm going to pay for this. And the good way to start is thinking about the problems in your own life. What is something that you're struggling with day to day or week to week or month to month that you wish there was a solution for, but isn't the solution? So I think it's just to build a solution for that. So with Digs Connect, the student housing platform that I built, I was a student at UCT, could not find student accommodation. No one could find student accommodation. So I thought, flip, instead of waiting for someone to solve it, I'm going to solve it myself.
And having said that, how did your personal experiences shape the advice you give in your memoir?
Oh gosh, well, it really is like my day-to-day lived experience. I mean, I was writing this book while still running my company, while still traveling the world for work, between meetings, after board meetings. It was like living the experience, being like writing the experience. And also from the 2 years or 3 years looking back of being this founder, from all the lessons I've learned, they always say the rearview mirror is clearer than the front sort of window, because you can always see back and see a lot clearer. And so I was writing about looking back, being like, okay, I see now the mistakes that I made. And everyone can tell you not to do those things, but you have to really do it yourself to learn and make mistakes. So write about all of that, and then writing as I was living the experience.
And what challenges did you encounter in your own startup journey that readers can learn from?
Oh gosh, I mean, everything from day one. It is exceptionally difficult to try and get that right. I'd say the hardest thing was probably during lockdown, during COVID. I mean, we had sort of just started. We were 2 years into our journey, and this absolutely unprecedented thing hit the world, and the world shut down, the country shut down, and especially being in student housing, university shut down. So it was very important for us. And for a startup that's very reliant on investor funds, the entire market around how startups fund, the entire thing shifted almost overnight. And so for 2 years, I'm understanding that you have to be very flexible to adjust market needs. So within that, being like, okay, we're going to be really flexible, but really fast, but also being quite cash constrained. How do we build for this new market? That was definitely a challenge. I felt like an MBA every day for like 2 years.
And speaking of flexibility, how do you see the future of technology impacting the startup world?
Oh my gosh, I mean, you can't kind of pull the two apart. It's absolutely essential.
Yeah.
What I often say, though, is there's some things that technology is really good at, there's things that humans are really good at. And I think there's a lot of fears in the world about how will technology or how will AI replace human beings. I don't think that's the case. I think that AI or technology will replace people who don't use AI and technology. I think it's essential that everyone starts equipping themselves with the best tools, tech tools, AI tools, to incorporate it into their day-to-day experience in the educational work, so they can equip themselves for the future, because it's completely unstoppable that tech is going to be a part of our life completely. I mean, look at this call that we're doing. I'm, tuning in through my laptop. So it just shows.
Yes. Any specific success stories or failures that you highlight in your book to illustrate your points?
Well, I think the most exciting thing probably was our rapid expansion. I mean, our first year of starting was very close-knit. It was just this new UST community. And so keeping things really small at first, conversely, is what made us work so well. You think when you start a company, let's do the whole world, let's go massive. But starting really small, like tiny within our community, and then sort of expanding out from that was fantastic. And then get to a point where in 2021, we signed a few global partnerships that gave us global distribution across the world. And that's why, calling in from London or Austin or Jive Her, that's been really, really exciting. So starting really small, getting that really right. And then once you've locked that down, that model down, that product, knowing exactly what you're offering to your users, expanding that as fast as you can.
Now, Alexandra, just how important is networking and mentorship in the startup ecosystem based on your own experiences?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I've definitely learned is I feel like I've spent, all of my startup journey working in this sort of Silicon Cape Town tech ecosystem setup, which is very similar to the kind of tech startups you're seeing in Berlin, London, of course, Silicon Valley, high growth, investor funded, and everyone's really sort of well networked. But then 2 years ago, I started doing work for South Africa's National Youth Development Agency, and they were working with entrepreneurs who are mostly running SMEs across South Africa. And this is the majority of entrepreneurship and business in South Africa. And then you're seeing sort of the effect of, you've got this hyper-connected tech startup world. And then you have what most of South African businesses, which is people building self-sustaining SMEs. And they're almost like two worlds apart. So it's been this massive challenge I've taken on, and I think quite a passion project, something I've become quite obsessive with, is how do you bridge these two worlds? How do you get the access from those networks and those funding and those global reaches into the rest of the SMEs across South Africa?
Now, is it also imperative for startups, to tap into a growing consumer base that is looking for services and products that align with their skills and expertise and possibly beliefs? Or are startups simply shooting in the dark?
Actually, there's sort of two answers I want to give to this. The first thing, asking about a growing base of consumers. And what I want to say just to that part of the question is that's why I think building in South Africa is so exciting. A lot of people sort of say, they want to build in the US and Europe and the UK and Asia. And I think definitely when it comes to growing your business, those markets are exciting. There's a lot more money in those markets, more investors in those markets. But starting your business in South Africa and in Africa gives you such a competitive edge because it's this huge growing market where more and more people are getting connected every day. I mean, there's more mobile connectivity than, I think, infrastructure for electricity across the whole of Africa.
Yeah.
And it's the only country with the growing population. So you have more and more people coming online. They want to access services, access goods, access social media, online gaming, like all these things.
And just how much of an impact does digital transformation have on startups?
You say how much?
How much of an impact does digital transformation have on startups?
Sorry, my sound was just breaking up there for a second.
Okay, I was asking how much of an impact does digital transformation have on startups? Because the misconception is that startups is always confined to the digital world or digital transformation. Yet a startup could be just about anything.
Sorry, I think my sound's finally coming through there. I think talking about technology was failing me there for a second. But I think there's two sides of the game. So like digital transformation, I think that any founder should absolutely take advantage of what's coming out in digital transformation. Talking about all these new consumers that are coming online, you're looking at a whole new market. I think traditionally with businesses, if you find your market, now they're all online, they're all on their phones. I think absolutely tapping into that is essential. I mean, your best marketing is on social media. Everyone's there. Your best of communicating is WhatsApp. And if you remember when FlySafair first launched their WhatsApp integration, where you can now check into your flights, you could book your flight ticket, you can engage completely through your phone. And that's fantastic because you go to where your consumer is. So I think you have to work with us to build something really global and really exciting.
All right, Alexandra, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Great stuff. You too. Thank you. Well, we just chatted to author and founder of Disconnect, as a startup sensation, Alexandria Procter, about her latest book, Upstart, a memoir that offers priceless business insights and advice around startups and new tech.